We'll get into the matchup a little bit here. We've talked a lot of Sabres today. We're willing to take your phone calls at 803-0550 on that. They've won 7 in a row. And joining now on the Westher hotline is Louie DiBiase, my brother, locked on Eagles. So, of course, we got to get him on this week. He also is a self-described dormant Sabres fan that has told me to call him when they're good again. And I'm not sure if now's the time, but it might be. It might be time.
They're what, 1 point out of the playoffs?
2 points out. Yeah.
They have a game in hand?
Yeah. They got games in hand on people. By points percentage, they're like right up there. They're right up there.
I'm like 1 foot back in.
All right.
But I mean, I've seen other bad Sabres teams go on 10-game win streaks, so I would like to see this sustained a little bit, but I am starting to get excited.
All right. We're going to 05-06 night, so you'll definitely be back in by then. That's January 15th.
I would predict so. Yeah, that's going to be a great one. Mika Norden's coming back.
We were talking about this. Owen, I don't know if you'll appreciate this. I don't know if you have a Norton opinion. You might have been too young. Of all people for him to be excited about coming back on 05-06 night, he's like Mika Norton.
Yeah, that seems like a weird...
He wasn't even on the team past December.
Right. I was just going to say, wasn't he gone?
No, he liked Mika.
I liked goalies growing up. I liked to back up goalies. Baran, I actually liked better than Miller back in the day, and Norton was kind of like a folk hero. So it's cool that he's coming back. We got a lot of weird ones coming back. Paye, Novotny.
Yeah, no matter how many games they played, Doug Janik will be there.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all coming back.
It's going to be good.
All right, Bills and Eagles on Sunday. What is it like to cover the Eagles? A team that won the Super Bowl. The fans still seem mad all the time. They're going to win the division, and I feel like every week is probably figuring out why they don't look better than they are.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Bills fans listening will probably roll their eyes, but it can be exhausting because this happens. They've made it to 3 Super Bowls in under a decade, and it feels like every time the following season, 2018, 2023, now 2025, it's just a roller coaster, and they end up finding a way and getting into the playoffs. But the fans are miserable. They don't trust the team. It feels like the same kind of problems happen over and over again, whether it's a different quarterback, different head coach, different roster. So it's been that kind of season yet again. And I thought after beating the Chiefs that they were going to become kind of a juggernaut. But the NFL this year, I think in general, is just completely wide open. And I'm not surprised. There's not a single team that's really dominating this year. So, but yeah, that's just par for the course covering this football team.
Yeah. Why doesn't it look great all the time? The roster feels like it has at least Pro Bowl, if not all pro talent at almost every position group. What is the problem for you?
Well, there's 2 specific things about this season, but then there's one bigger picture issue or limitation that ends up being the result of these kind of seasons, 2023, 2025. This season, the problem has been the offensive line has been injured and inconsistent all year. And that's really the identity of this football team is a run-first football team. That's how they won the championship last year. Lane Johnson's been injured. Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, their right guard starter, Tyler Steen, is definitely a downgrade from Mekhi Becton last year. So that's been the issue. And then Kevin Patullo is the new play caller, has been a step below Kellen Moore. That's probably an understatement. So the play caller regressed and the offensive line regressed. But I think the bigger issue is that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, like they have their strengths that allow you to compete for championships year after year, but they also have clear limitations that if the play caller isn't as bad or isn't as good, and if the offensive line and the run game isn't as consistent, I think those two have shown that they haven't really evolved yet in their career, or maybe they won't, where they can carry you to a degree, but they can't like completely mask those things. Jalen Hurts has his elite strengths, but he's not somebody that can throw 40-plus times a game and lead you to wins, like kind of the way Josh Allen has elevated the Bills, right? And I think Nick Sirianni, he's given up play calling duties since 2021. The play caller has been changing every single year, and he's not able to kind of overcome that from a schematic standpoint. So I think this year the problem's been the offensive line and the play caller. But the reason you get these kind of seasons, it feels like every other year when those things change, is because your quarterback and coach, there's a lot of great strengths to those guys, but there's clear and obvious limitations too.
Yeah. Do you feel like there is an element of defenses over time have learned a little bit more about how to play Hurts, and he doesn't really have a pivot once you've done that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Hurts has grown over the years with his accuracy, progressions in the pocket, throwing with anticipation. He has grown comparatively speaking to who he was in college and early with the Eagles, but it still isn't to the level of like those other star quarterbacks that after last year, he was put in that tier with Allen, Burrow, Lamar, Mahomes. And I wonder if he'll ever get to that point. We've had a lot of conversations on the show the last couple of weeks if, is this guy going to age like Russell Wilson where he's got an elite deep ball, he's elite mobility-wise, but if he doesn't grow to a certain ceiling inside the pocket, like when he's 30-plus years old, how is he going to be as a quarterback? So I've been wondering that, and I think that's definitely an issue when, play callers are changing every single year and defenses have kind of caught up to your RPO game. What's your curveball? And I think right now the Eagles with Hurts and Sirianni kind of just have a fastball. So they're figuring that out on the fly, and it's been interesting to watch for sure.
What are they as a rush attack right now? Barkley's not putting up the numbers from last year, but the Bills are definitely struggling in run defense. Yeah. What level of threat is Philly right now for that?
Yeah, it's been bad pretty much the majority of the year, but I will say 2 of the last 3 games, they've definitely found their footing. Running the football, I think they've gone a lot more under center, which has helped Saquon Barkley. I think the offensive line blocking has gotten better. Saquon does have over 100 yards in 2 of the last 3 games. Didn't have any negative runs against Washington, which is good. So, you got to put it with context because they played the Raiders and the Commanders. But like you said, the Bills' run game's been struggling, and Saquon, I think, last week had his best game. Plus, Lane Johnson might be back. So it's been bad the majority of the year. And, again, that's the main reason this offense has been so up and down. But I think they're peaking at the right time, which is exciting. So I think it's been less about Saquon, just more in general, again, about the offensive line, and defense is just honing in on the one thing that you do great.
Louie DiBiase, Locked On Eagles on the Western Hotline. What about meaning for this game? We talked about it when the schedule was made, that it kind of stunk that this game was so late in the year because it might not have all the stakes. So the Bills, the 1 seed in the division, they need the Dolphins to lose, or the Dolphins or Jets to beat the Patriots. So that's not super likely. And then otherwise it's seeding. What about Philly? Because the division is wrapped up. So, what about stakes for them?
Yeah, odds are they're going to be the 3 seed. They still have kind of a long shot chance of the 2 seed, so I don't think you're going to see Tanner McKee in this game and they're going to bring in all the backups. It depends on what happens with Chicago, but if the Bears lose their last 2 games, and that is doable, they play the 49ers and the Lions. If the Eagles beat the Bills and the Commanders, which should be a gimme game week 18, although we'll see with this football team, but if they win those 2 games and the Bears lose both, they could be the 2 seed. And I think that is important because, again, no matter what, in the first round of the NFC, whoever you're playing in the wild card round, it's going to be tough. Right now they would play the Rams in the first round. I think that's the best team in the conference. Yeah. And then, it could be San Francisco. It could be Green Bay, Seattle. No matter what, there's no gimme game there. So does it really matter 3 versus 2? I still think it does because as the 2 seed, like I said with the wild card teams, there's a very good chance a division winner gets upset. So you want the highest seed possible to potentially get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They were the 2 seed last year, and the playoffs did run through the link because the Lions got upset by the Commanders. So I don't know if it's not a huge deal if they don't get it. I think this team is very good on the road, but I would still try for it because, again, the NFC is so tough right now that there is a chance you could get multiple home games still. So it's a long shot. They need the Bears to lose both, and Chicago's hot right now. But there is a chance. So they definitely have something to play for. But I do wish this game was earlier in the year because, they have stuff to play for. But it's not to the same stakes it would have been if it was week 8 or 9.
Right. Hey, I play the 6 or the 7 is what I'm fighting for. Which, listen, if the Rams are the 6, the Rams are the 6, that's not nothing. Even last year they were the only team in the playoffs that pushed Philly.
Right. They should have beat the Eagles if it wasn't for Jalen Carter's sack in the red zone that took them out of, pretty much range to have a realistic touchdown chance. The Rams probably send them home. So that's the one team I'd look to avoid. I would probably want Green Bay of anybody, and they're the 7th seed right now, and I think that's going to be where they stay. So, I would definitely fight for the 2 seed still.
I'd want to play Green Bay. I don't think there's too many important injuries now. There's just too many.
Parsons is out. Jacobs has been banged up. We know the ups and downs of Jordan Love. So, again, the NFC's so good. But I would say, if I could take one team, give me Green Bay.
Okay. One last thing about this matchup. A.J. Brown at this point, it feels like the relationship's a little bit more rosy than it was beginning of the year.
Yeah, he's had, I think, the most receiving yards over the last month and a half of anybody. He's had 3 or 4 100-yard games. He's getting close to hitting 1,000 again. So they found a way to get him involved. I mean, it's pathetic that they had to find a way to get a top 5 receiver involved, but he seems happier. It seems like him and Jalen are on talking terms. They're celebrating again. So I don't know. I mean, there's still rumors that they could look to trade him in the offseason. I don't understand the logic to that unless he forces his way out. And considering the way they've gotten him involved and kind of force-fed him, even in spite of Devontae Smith, I don't see that happening, though, which is huge because the minute A.J. Brown's gone, I think your window closes dramatically. So I think that might be the biggest takeaway from this year, even if they don't win a playoff game, is that they healed things with A.J. Brown because this team is not the same without him.
Careful. People are sensitive to window closing takes. You just threw that out there. You said closing a little.
I mean, I think if A.J. Brown's gone, they're clearly not the same football team.
The reason there's rumors is because the GM is like the biggest wild card in the league. That's why there's rumors.
Right.
Everybody.
I think there's other GMs out there, too, that probably want him really bad, i.e. the New England Patriots, who don't seem to shut up about the guy, and I think are throwing those rumors out there. So, I mean, that's probably part of it, too.
All right, lastly, is Jingle All the Way a Christmas classic, yes or no?
Yes, it is. It's one of the most underrated Christmas movies there is.
Wow, look at this. We did not put it on our list. We had a list of only 10 Christmas classics of all time, and it didn't make the list.
It cannot be a Christmas classic.
There are too many.
It's just not.
Here we go.
Cannot make this list.
Look what I've done.
I mean, if there's only 10, I can understand that. Like, there's a lot of Christmas movies, but it would be in my top 10 for sure, yeah.
His personal top 10.
Have you ever come
Turtle
across...
Man, come on.
Have you ever come across Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas?
No, I lived in the same household as him. No,
I was going to say.
he has no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds made up to me.
Okay.
No idea what you're talking about. All right.
You guys don't know what you're talking about.
We'll let you go on that. I'll see you later.
All right. Thanks, man.